One, two. It's your girl Regine. What it do? What it do? You are now listening to The Bold, The Brown, and The Opinionated Podcast. What's up, y'all? What we talking about today? Let's get into it. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Bold, Brown, and Opinionated Podcast. It's your girl Regine, and as y'all know, we did Storytelling September, and y'all, I'm excited about this story. I'm sorry, I just am. So, without further ado, y'all know his name from Woman Behind the Brand, featuring Tavea, and she was talking about her bougie minks, still for sale, right, Bea? Still for sale, so check her out. So this is Tavea's love story, but it's going to be told from her husband's point of view, retro. So we know a little bit about it. We know how he motivated her with her lashes and, got her out her shell. So let's hear their love story from a male perspective, y'all. Let's get into it.
Retro Foulintino, and I'm gonna tell y'all my story on how I met my wife. One day, slid in her DM on Snapchat, and I didn't think she was gonna reply. So it was like, I'm like just waiting. I'm like, oh, she ain't gonna reply to me. So she replied back, and I was like, oh. So the conversation basically is, what's up? What's your name? And she hit me with her name Tavea. And she was like, what's yours? I was like, Retro. And she was asked me where I was from. I asked her where she is from. So we got into that. And then after that, we just kept talking. Then we became cool, like best friends. And we are best friends. So. And then, the first time we met, she just pulled up on me randomly. I'm like, oh, you can't be pulling up on me like that. That's that's how people just you can't be pulling up on people like that, especially street niggas. Swear, I was happy, but at the same time, I didn't know who the fuck she was. So she was started laughing or whatever. So we chilling, our vibe just connected. It was we were inseparable. It was our personalities click. We goofy people. We like to have fun type stuff. So it's that. It's two peas in the pot. Yeah, I knew that was gonna be my wife, but I'm like she got whatever she's dealing with right now. She gotta let that shit go, cause I'm that nigga. So it's she already knew I was. She already told me 4 years ago, yeah, can you tell Snapchat that we getting married? I'm playing around, we ain't getting no married. 4 years, we probably still gonna be with whoever you we it's cool like that. So I'm playing my part. Whenever she ready, she's just gonna be ready. So she's just tell Snapchat we was gonna get married. So I'm we ain't getting no married. She's so you gonna diss me on Snapchat? I'm like, no, I ain't dissing you. We got videos of all types of stuff. Friendship was the golden years, and it's still to come. But at the same time, it's I cherish those moments. I always look back on them damn, that's how I met my wife. We cool as hell. The funniest couple ever. We'd be sitting there cracking jokes of people. She's you see that? I thought you ain't see that. When we just start laughing, I'm I thought you ain't see that. So it'd be on some funny type shit. Or our first Valentine's Day. We went to Texas de Brazil, and she was yeah, I want to try this restaurant. I'm you could go wherever you want to. So it's I'm nervous on the day. At the same time, I don't want to fuck this shit up. And it's she you cool. I'm am I dressed cool? I'm worried. I'm cause I'm on the day. I wore this silky red shirt with this design or whatever, some black pants and some glasses, and she had on this black dress with these black pump heels. I'm just oh, I'm really going on a date with her. For real. like we really like a couple like type shit. And she was like, we went there, had a good time, like, but we really didn't like the restaurant because it was like overhyped. But we had a good time, like, and that was like one of my best moments, like with her, like. And then that's when she asked me like the question, like, you want to be a couple, like, and she was like, you could take a couple days to think about it or whatever. I'm like, no, like, we could do this, like. Immediately, I knew it was it. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, we already locked in. Like, the next step is what's the next? I mean, the next step is the bigger step. So whenever we ready for that, we just gonna take the time for that. Like, I ain't really got no worries because I'm moving in with my best friend. Like, and now we a couple. It's like we unstoppable. So after that, we like ever since like high school, I was dating like females with kids and stuff. So it wasn't like no thing with me dating a female with a kid. But it was like now you're in a relationship, a real relationship, and y'all living together. So you gotta set a better standard for her kid. So it's like I'm a good guy. He's going to grow up to look towards me as like a father figure, and I'm a cool person to be around. He liked me to be around. He liked to be around me. So my son is like my best friend too. So it's like they came as a package. Like, so it's like we all rocking together. We move in. I got used to that. So a year we cool. So a year goes past. So on my birthday, she was like, "Yeah, let's take a trip." I'm like, I don't know. I really want to go to Vegas, but I don't know about this money situation. We gotta take care of home first. So I'm like, she like, it's cool, or whatever. So she was like, we going to Vegas, like, so we went to Vegas on my birthday, like, and it was like one of the most enjoyable experiences in my life. So it was like out there like smoking heavy, like I'm like walking around smoking, not getting harassed by no police or none of that type shit. Like we drinking, having a good time, like enjoying the lights, all that like beautiful type stuff, like living life. Like so it's like I'm like, oh yeah. I'm on vacation with the one I love, like so I'm straight I'm living life. So everything was cool. So in Vegas, she was thinking of all these types like things like activities to do. So we went to the Madame Tussauds, and that was like one of the most enjoyable things too. And it's a wax museum with all the celebrities, movies, and all that other types of stuff. We saw like Jamie Foxx, Will Smith, Beyonce, uh, Chris Angel, um, Bob Marley, Drake. She was dancing in front of Drake. Like I'm like, yo, y'all beat the fuck out of Drake. Like stop playing with me. Like so she started cracking up. Like take the picture. Like I'm recording it the whole time, but it's like I'm like stop playing with me. Light skinned dudes ain't it. I'm with it. Like stop playing. Like so I went over to I'm looking for the Nicki Minaj thing because everybody used to do the Nicki Minaj thing. Like I'm trying to take a picture with Nicki too, but they took the Nicki thing out the museum or whatever because I guess people kept acting crazy. You know how niggas is like, so it's like they took I took a picture with Snoop, I took a picture with Biggie, I took a picture with Tupac, all them like. So it was like that was like a good experience. Like when we was out Vegas, I'm like, yeah, every time we go out there, we gotta go to the wax museum so we could try to take pictures with things. Like I like going to Vegas all the time. Like yeah, it's super lit. Like yeah, that's how I knew Vegas was lit. I'm like, yeah, I'm with my best friend. Like everything in life is perfect. Like the only thing I could do, only thing we could do is just go up from here. Like so after that, I'm like, so she just kept talking about wedding stuff, and I'm like, it must be that time. Like she's ready. I'm really ready, but I'm like nervous about it. Like, cause you just all these people used to break up and all that type. Like, I don't want that type stuff. I be wanting like if I'm marrying somebody, it's for life. Like till we both done. Like die off in this earth. Like so it gets like towards towards the towards December. So we she's still talking about married and all this other type stuff. Like if you don't propose to me by a certain time, then we if yeah, it was before Vegas. Like she was like, if you don't propose to me by before we go to Vegas, then we gonna he gonna come back home single. Like I'm hearing this from her friends and stuff like that. Like I'm like she's serious. Like so I'm like I don't know what to do. Like I'm just scrambling around. I'm like so I asked her friend. I'm like yeah you trying. So she didn't know this. So I'm like yeah you trying to help me go grab this ring. I already made the call and all that. Like it was just getting a rat. Like basically she was taking me to get the ring and make sure the ring was cool and sizes and all that type stuff. But yeah, we she ain't know that. So I came home the one night I got the ring or whatever. When I'm at the jeweler, I walks in, the lady like, "Oh, how you doing?" She like, "Yeah, what you looking?" I'm like, "I'm looking for an engagement ring." I shows her the phone, like the ring, cause she used to send me the pictures of the ring all the time. Like it was like a constant everyday thing. Like they're like, "Don't this look nice? It would look nice on my finger." Like I'm like, we gonna get there, like, but we not gonna rush it. Like, we can't rush this stuff. Like, I want everything to be perfect. So she was like, all right, I understand. Like, she was like, I just want you to be with me for the rest of life. Like, I'm like, we are, like, there's nothing gonna go wrong. Like, so it's like, she just keeps sending me the picture of the ring. So I just go one day, like, calls her friend like, yeah, you trying to take me to the mall so I can go see if they got this ring. So the lady, when I asked the lady, I showed her the picture. She was like, yeah, it's right here. So I asked her, I'm like, yeah, you got a size 8, and which was her ring size. So I'm like, she's like, yeah, we could ship it off and get it sized or whatever. So I paid for half of it there, and then I paid for the other half whenever it came back. So whenever they real diamonds. So if y'all try and be on some funny type shit, we both got real diamonds in our rings. Like so we ain't with none of that cap shit. Like so y'all go ahead, diamond tester and all that. I got the video to prove it. All that. So when we went to go grab the ring. Her friends saw, oh, she's gonna be happy. Da, da, da. I'm like, yeah. I'm gotta do it before the Vegas trip, cause you said that. Like, I'm like, she's gonna be super happy with her ring down there. Like, so one day I come home from work, so her friends over here, like, at the house talking to her or whatever. So I comes in, I'm like, yeah, what's up? So we and her friends texting the whole time, like, yeah. I'm like, when? Like, when to do it? Like, so I goes up, like, go upstairs, go to the bathroom, grab the ring or whatever. I asked her, like, when to do it, like, do it right now. She's like, no, 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 no. Just scramble around upstairs or whatever, like, try to get the ring or get ready, like, what you gonna say or whatever. So I'm like, all right, like, so, she started playing the song, like, I proposed to her in a song. So she ain't never heard the song. So when we start playing the song, she started playing the song. She's like, "Oh yeah, this is Kenny and VO2K's new song or whatever." When I made the song, I'm like, I'm gonna propose to her in this song, like, so it's like basically like a song that's coming out soon, which is like it's called Skyline Terrace. So he's it's basically talks about like love, like basically like how like you and your significant other is like basically made for each other. So that's when I made my verse specifically for her. Like every verse like y'all hear or whatever is basically for my wife. Like so on my music or whatever thing. Like there ain't nothing like about nobody else. It's about my wife. Like so every like female like R&B type ish song I make about her. So I made that like whenever her friend heard it and we was recording it, she was like, "Oh, she's gonna like this and she's gonna cry like whenever she hear the song." Like so, long story short, to the like I get home or whatever, I grabs the ring. So I hear the song's going off like. So I'm sitting on the couch or whatever. I already got the ring in my hand, but they start laughing or whatever. So whenever it goes to my port and it's like I'm getting up to like propose to her when my port come on, like in a song, and she's like, what you doing? Like she looking at me like, what you doing? And then I just dropped the one knee and I opened the ring, and I basically, like, the song basically said everything for me. And she was like, she started laughing like and started crying like, and her friend like, you ain't gonna take the ring, bitch. Like, you know how girls are like, you ain't gonna take the ring, you ain't gonna say yeah. I'm like, so what you gonna say? Like, so she start crying and start laughing like at the same time. She start shaking her head, yeah, like. So I'm like, basically like, we're good now. It made me super happy. I'm like, yeah, now this fairy tale story is the ending. Like, it's like I ain't gotta search for nobody. I got the one I need and the one that got my back since day one. Like there ain't nobody. Like I don't need nobody else. Like she got me, and I got her. So it's like, now it's like us against the world. So now, yeah, now that's my wife. Like future plans. We got she got her business, Bougie Minx. I got my business, Foulintino Clothing. My music's doing good. Her music's doing good. Like we in a good place right now. Like only thing we need to do is like we gotta have our reception because of this COVID stuff messed everything else up. I mean messed everything up. But besides that, we good. Like you can follow me on social media, Retro Valentino on everything, even YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Spotify, all that.
All right, y'all. So make sure you are following the boy Retro on everything. I'm going to spell it out for y'all just so we don't get it confused. Retro, Retro, Valentino, Foulintino. Make sure you are following Retro on everything. I mean, who doesn't love a freaking love story, y'all? Go check out his music. Go check out Vea's lashes, anything you need, y'all can get it on their Instagrams or their Facebook, y'all. And like always, make sure you are following the Bold, Brown, and Opinionated podcast. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and y'all go and leave a comment and a review on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can find us. Make sure you're subscribed, make sure you leave a review, and make sure you are sharing with your friends. As always, it's your girl Regine. I'll be back, y'all. This is only the beginning of Storytelling September. We got more stories coming. Be on the lookout.
Lastly, I want to encourage my listeners to be all that you were meant to be with your boldness, to love the skin that you're in with your brown, glowing melanin. And remember, just because you're opinionated does not mean you're angry. So never be afraid to have an opinion. And before I go, please follow The Bold, The Brown, and The Opinionated Podcast on Facebook and Instagram for all your podcast updates. And until next time, my BBO gang, deuces.